I just wanna let you in.
Hello ladies and welcome back, or if you're new here, welcome. Hello, my name is Samantha and it is great to have you. I upload new videos every single Sunday, so if you are not yet subscribed, hit that button down below and join us here on my channel. Welcome to the 4th episode of Let's Talk. If you're unfamiliar with my series, I would encourage you to click the links in the description. I will have the first 3 episodes listed there. Those episodes are on 50-50 relationships, standards, and red flags. So chances are, if you enjoyed this video, you will enjoy those as well. So once you finish watching this one, you can click those links and explore them too. On this episode, we'll be discussing self-sabotage, what it is, why we do it, and how we can avoid it in the future. Whether this is something that you struggle with personally or simply something that you observe in the behaviors of others, keep on watching. In my eyes, there are 2 different types of self-sabotage. The first being specific. So, for example, you are working for a company that you would like to advance forward in. However, despite knowing that you have a goal of moving up in the company and knowing that you will be a great asset to them, you regularly clock in late. When there's business parties, you only stay for the introduction and you leave as soon as possible. These are perfect instances of a specific self-sabotaging behavior. However, as I said, there are 2 types of behavior, the first being specific, the second being non-specific. In this case, I would consider any behavior that stops you from being the best version of yourself to be a non-specific self-sabotaging behavior. For example, if you are someone who prides themselves on being healthy both mentally and physically, however, you regularly overeat or undereat and never get 8 hours of sleep. Even though this is not specific as the first instance, I would still absolutely consider this self-sabotaging behavior. The important thing to remember about self-sabotage is that we all partake from time to time, and usually we are entirely unconscious of it while we're doing it. And because of that, identifying where and how you self-sabotage requires both self-reflection and self-awareness. As I mentioned earlier in this video, self-sabotage can come in many forms, some of which are laziness, overeating, undereating, breaking promises to yourself or others, staying up too late, lowering your standards, or procrastinating. The list truly goes on. It is so important to pinpoint what areas you need to make a change in, and it is just as important to give yourself both time and compassion while making the change. You should also absolutely expect to fall off track at some point. Unlearning self-defeating beliefs and unconscious behaviors is not easy, and it will take time, as well as many attempts. That's why showing yourself compassion through this process is so crucial. If you get frustrated with yourself, you are more likely to feel guilty and reindulge in the pattern. The real question here is, why do we self-sabotage? And psychologists have a varying degree of opinions on this topic. However, my personal belief is that we are afraid to leave our comfort zone. Establishing new, healthy, and constructive habits is not easy. It can be extremely difficult, and believe it or not, self-sabotage can be seen as a coping mechanism. I'm sure plenty of you relate to the things I've said already. However, you may be asking yourselves, how do I know if I am self-sabotaging? The answer to that is, how do you feel? How are you feeling before, after, and during a behavior, thought, or experience? If a belief, a behavior, or an interaction leaves you feeling negative, anxious, depressed, or guilty, there is a chance that that is a form of self-sabotage. So once you've identified a potentially self-sabotaging behavior, try your best to be mindful next time you partake in it. it is extremely likely that the same negative feelings you had initially will arise again once you partake in the behavior, belief, or interaction again. This should be confirmation that it is a self-sabotaging behavior, and now that you've identified it, you can see it in a different light. It is no longer unconscious. And this is where change begins. When you can say, I realize I'm procrastinating and I know that it is doing more harm than good, you are more likely to avoid the behavior in the future. There are so many great tips and tricks on how to avoid self-sabotaging behavior. I will share a couple of my favorites, but I would also love to hear from you ladies. What are the ways that you self-sabotage, and how do you get yourself out of those behaviors? For example, if I am feeling lazy and I am procrastinating, be it going to the gym or cleaning my apartment, I like setting timers. I will give myself a reasonable period of time to relax and prepare myself mentally, physically, emotionally for whatever I need to do. But I know that when that timer goes off, it is time to get to business. Another way you can combat self-sabotage is by keeping a journal of your self-sabotaging behaviors. I know it sounds simple, but having a detailed list of your self-sabotaging behaviors as well as possible triggers will give you a roadmap to success. You know what you can approach with caution, what you should avoid entirely, and having this journal will make you less emotional when it comes to situations that would normally cause you to self-sabotage. It will also give you the opportunity to look at situations going forward from a more logical standpoint instead of responding emotionally and possibly re-indulging in self-sabotage. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one.